Here's our Monday Fun Day group. Good morning. Welcome to your weekly setup, Sonder family. I'm Jennifer Ogilvy. I'll be your on-camera facilitator, and my fabulous co-pilot this morning, Maya, will be hanging out with you in the chat. It's really good to see you all. Maya and I have been we've been doing a lot of events this weekend with the monthly and our weekly setups. Yes. Sonder Social March weekly setup. This is one of those weird hybrid weeks. Maya said if she could rule the world, every month would start fresh with day one on a Monday. So we're going to be sort of finishing up the idea of March and our theme of change. We have a bonus mind map for you to do. And then next week will be our first full week of April, and we will then proceed. But we'll be setting up in our April journal after we take care of our mind map question and our rosebud thorn. So I know it's a little yeah, we're doing it in April, or you can do your rosebud thorn reflection and you can do your bonus mind map question either in March, find a space in April, or do it on a scrap piece of paper. This is about taking what you need. So good morning, bunch. We're really glad to see you. Yeah, we're leaving March behind. Make sure your chat is set to everyone. That's how we'll communicate. I would like to see, there's so many familiar Sonder family names hanging out in the chat this morning. And I'm wondering if there's anybody that you're checking a social out for the very first time. If that's you, thank you. Thank you, Dawn. If that's you, and this is like your very first social, drop a me in the chat. And I can talk a little bit, we're gonna be setting this up. You may have your cadence, you know what you're going to do, but I'm also going to show you a lot of examples shared by our Sonder family members so that you can get some ideas for maybe trying something new in your journal. Or you can just sit with us. You kept this date with yourself. You kept this your accountability buddies are here and you're joining everyone. Yeah, and Amanda, that's true. The March journal that we're in does not have the complete this week. Week 14 is not complete in it. So you'll want to jump into your April journal. So I don't know if there's anybody here who's new or not. You can just drop a me in the chat. Again, I'll be the only one on camera and our mics are off. And so, we always remind you, take what you need. If the music's not hitting it for you, drop it. Just to put it on mute. If I'm not hitting it for you, put me on mute. But yeah, we're gonna communicate in the chat. You can see lots of good positive vibes there. I want to make a couple of announcements because I know Monday mornings can be tight and some of you are heading out the door to get to work. But so you'll see this at the end of our time together as well. Maya just dropped you a link. So Silk and Sonder dropped a minimalist digital version of the journal. So it's the same content without the florals, the same reflection without florals, but it is available in the minimalist or in the digital form. And so maybe there's someone in your life who wouldn't necessarily want to do I love the florals. But if you need a space where maybe you can get more creative on your own, or you just like that clean line, that might be something you could check out. So there is that link that Maya put in there right now. It's 15% off. We'll share the link at the end as well. And then I want to encourage you to do an act of kindness this week. And one of those things could be leaving your review on the Silk and Sonder website, Apple and Google Play Store, and especially Trustpilot. And that would just be this journal is so important to all of us and our personal growth. we would love for you to just take that moment. I really try to be intentional with like cheering when things are good and not just being that person that leaves negative reviews. And so this could be that counter to that. So, would love to encourage you to do that if you haven't done it. And if you'll scroll down, you'll see, I did mine, I think at the front end of last week. I had been meaning to, and I finally went to Trustpilot and I wrote mine. But it's a real simple process. You just type in what you think and do it. And it takes like 2 hours. I think they review it and then they'll post it to their site. Mayha would be so grateful for that. Here are the community guidelines that we share when we gather with one another. I know that you've seen these before, but if there is someone out there who's brand new, we share these because we remind one another of the safe spaces that we create when we do gather for our work in our journal. If you have any customer queries, please be sure to save hello at silkandsonder.com and our customer care team will get back with you. Maya and I don't have headquarters information, so we can't really help you with subscriptions and that kind of stuff, but our customer care team will be able to do that. All righty. So we are saying goodbye to change. This is a transition week. You're going to love the mind map because it helps us with that transition from change into our new theme of awareness. But lots of times when we put our slides together, we put the content that we ourselves need to hear. And this quote was something I needed to be reminded of this week. Every difficult moment should be met with a simple question. What can I change and control? And what do I have to accept? And so I felt like that was a good way to say goodbye to change. We've been spending this month looking at how we adapt to change and what that looks like in our life, with our values, with how we're wired. And so we're going to finish up our mind map, and it's a bonus question. So you probably have um, your mind map where you've got your 4 weeks worth. So this week again can be done on a sticky note, a scratch piece of paper. You can do it somewhere if you have space left in your March journal. Maybe you write on the back cover for your bonus mind map question, or you go find some empty spaces. So wherever you want to put this question. Now, I am going to share our 4 weeks of questions just in case you missed one week. You could grab a screenshot and we can reflect on change from week one. We are able to look at our positive changes. We are going to do change as an opportunity and how we can do that. So yeah, there's just lots of things we can do to reflect on our past week. We are working on that, Amanda. Thank you very much. Give me 1 second. So go look at your mind map. What did you do for those weeks that you were thinking about all these questions? And go review that. Maya's taking care of that. So thank you for your patience, friends. So sorry about that. I was just trying to chat and stay cool. So anyway, we're going to take all those 4 weeks of our change mind map and look forward to our bonus map. So our question today, go back, identify change that you've made, a belief you held, or a moment of alignment in your life. And if that feels familiar, think about January alignment. Think about February, your belief system. Think about March with change. This question incorporates all the work we've done. Someone said, "Oh, it's our quarterly review." And so, yes, we have our quarterly review this morning. So, I'm going to suggest if you can get to your January and February journals, go grab those real quick and look at your mind map question. And this could inspire this reflection about a change that you've made, a belief that you want. Like, they just have interplayed so beautifully together. A belief you once held but changed, got in alignment with yourself. Um, and then think about your self discovery, right? How did it contribute to your self discovery? And then, were there any surprising insights, maybe as we've grown these past 3 months together? Y'all, I'm so sorry. So just let's stop real quick. Let's just take a deep breath and remind ourselves that this is a safe community and that we are with our people. And I'm sorry, I know that what we saw was very triggering in the chat, but we've taken care of that. So take a couple more deep breaths and let's refocus on what we're going to think about this morning, because I'm so proud of the journey that you all have taken for our first quarter of the year. Good. I'm glad you did, Janine. We just had a bomber. Um, but I want you to think about the chapter in your life, and I put a couple of quotes up there. A lot of the conflict you have in your life exists simply because you're not living in alignment. You're not being true to yourself. And I think with our alignment and belief, work, we kind of got there. And yeah, you missed it because I was deleting while Maya was trying to find that person in the chat. So we got it. Reminder, may this chapter be where you bloom again, softly, slowly, in your own time. All right, let's put on some music. And I can't wait to see, like, just go flip back through that. And you might actually grab a screenshot of this or remember that this is recorded, because you may want to, like, meander through your first quarter review of life. And we'll just, as things pop up, like, oh my gosh, I opened January, and after I did the month of change, here's what I'm seeing. It'll be exciting to see those things in your life, how they're playing out. All right, I'm going to stop talking. Deep breaths. Let's dive into today's bonus mind map. This reflection can be so, so personal as you think about that um, shift in your self-discovery. When we were talking about awareness at our monthly setup, we'll have another one tonight. And I have a quote from Gandhi, and it talks about your beliefs lead to your thoughts, which lead to your work, that kind of thing. And the word I asked everybody to think about was the word Y-O-U-R, your. We spend our life, trying to please others and forgetting to put ourselves first and to really embrace our belief system, our those core values, and live in alignment. But when we can, oh my gosh, how beautiful that is. And I really appreciate Michelle saying, that she had no, no, no. Let's see. It was, hold on, I'm going through. Yes, I'm going through the chat. My mind is a little goofy, but just that word of forgiveness and being able to let stuff go because a lot of times when we're carrying things, the other person doesn't even know we're upset about it and we're festering and we give a lot of power to those people without even realizing it. So again, this one you may not finish up. This could be honestly a couple of pages as we look through the last 3 months as we've journeyed through these things. So thank you for working on this. So we're gonna do our last journal prompt in our March journal. So this rosebud thorn reflection is found on page 54. And this is that staple in our setup every week. We confront our challenges, those thorns, the things that caused us a lot of heartache and grief and struggles, and try to find the learnings in those. We give a lot of power to paper when we can put those thorns down and then stop and try to embrace what the learning is there or what maybe the blessings are there. We look at our buds. What are we looking forward to? And this could just be this new week. This could be next year. Maybe there's something in the works, and that's the thing that is going to help you have that growth mindset when we're looking ahead to what is there and the possibilities. And then the roses are the good things that happened. It helps us find the positive gratitude for what last week brought you. So I'll put on a little bit of music. I normally share with you what my rosebud and thorn were, they're already typed in there, and I haven't been ready to tackle this page. And I know there's a lot of you have heard me talk over the past weekend, and I'm here to just let y'all know it's been a really bad week, a really tough week. I will probably skip this reflection altogether and just dive into my journal with maybe a letter to March. I've shared with y'all that my brother was on a sobriety journey and he had a relapse, but within that relapse, he ended up ultimately having a heart attack and was found unresponsive in his home this week. And so I'm okay being here with y'all. Y'all are my community. And I wanted to show up because we always say, come as you are. And I needed to do this. I needed to be with y'all. Y'all know I work my Al-Anon program and I read my readings every day to be the best me I can be and have those boundaries. And so my sweet Maya kept checking, are you sure you want to do this? And I'm okay here. And I haven't really done much in my journal for April. It's hard to kind of look ahead, but every day's a little lighter. And I know that you all have shown up with grief and have been loved on, and none of us get out of life without these really hard times. So I want to be with y'all and just remind you that you are always welcome to show up as yourself and taking what you need from your journal. And I can be here because of Silk and Sonder, because of our reflections and our work. So Please work on your rosebud thorn. If you had some really good roses and buds, let's put some positivity in that chat to help with my mindset so I can continue to look forward. And yes, Leanne, with great love comes great grief. I said, I lost my very first best friend. We were very close, family, all that kind of stuff. I said we trauma bonded when we were kids. So, thank y'all for those words. And let's do our reflection and share as you are comfortable. And please, really drop your good stuff. That's good for my heart this morning. I truly love this reflection. You guys had some great roses. I love a spontaneous date like that. Your husband never does that. Mildred, that's so great. Um, I'm just laughing because Lori said I need to wear my reading glasses. I spent a minute rubbing a smudge off the computer screen, and it was actually her cursor. Man, getting old's hard. That made me laugh. Thanks, Lori. So, good job reflecting on your week. And again, if things didn't go well, give yourself the space to, just sit, and it's okay to have thorns every now and then. That it's all that you feel, and then you move forward with finding, the good and the learning from that. So let's get going with our weekly setup. So grab that brand new April journal. Oh, those fresh pages, aren't they the best? We're going to be on pages 26 and 27. This is week 14. And I really, really love starting, just that fresh journal. And we are going to kick off by taking a look at a couple of people's pages. I call it show and tell. Let's see what folks did with this page. So you can see that what I love about these is both of these examples have their three major goals, and they're directly tied into their to-dos. Their to-do list was informed by those goals. So perhaps you'll do that. And both of these examples on their habit and activity tracker didn't set a certain number that they were going for. They're both just tracking when things happen. So that option of not tracking if you don't want to. When we're looking at how do we want to feel, we have more fun and less funk on one, which I thought it was fun, and then the other one wants to feel present, just be. And I actually wrote what Maya said in the chat about grief in my feeling as my reminder this week. Grief is just love that has nowhere to go. And so I think that's going to kind of help me focus on my week. I love that, Maya. Thank you for sharing that. So I want you, before we decide how we want to feel, stop and do a check in. Like, how are you feeling right now at this very moment? Are you joyful? You might want to carry that feeling through, but if you're feeling exhausted or frustrated or sad or down or defeated, let's acknowledge that, and let's sit with that for just a second and then think about how do we want to feel? Okay, so self-check first. And then what do you want to feel? And Sonia is heading on a spontaneous little road trip with her husband. So she says, I want to feel a sense of adventure. You can start dropping in the chat kind of what you're wanting to claim for the week. Calm and confident, feeling calm. I like when we share our feelings because it's almost, how we want to feel, because it's almost like that accountability. Like we've spoken it into the universe. Other people saw it, and it's going to hold us accountable to really lean into that word this week, right? Replenished, lighter, positive energy. I want to feel safe at work. Absolutely, Elizabeth. So yeah, keep those words coming, because someone may be sitting there wanting to come up with something they don't know exactly what to say, and so your word could inspire them. Love, seen and appreciated, peaceful and peaceful confidence, vibrant. Ooh, I like vibrant. That goes nicely with vitality, which is my word of the year. I like that. Keep those dropping, and then we're going to take those feelings into setting up our goals for the week and our to-dos. Um, just a shout out to pardon me, the SMART goals. We want to encourage you to consider if you can do SMART goals. That means that your goals are very. We just had a cat drive by. That's what I call it when they walk over your keyboard. A cat drive by. Your SMART goals should be very specific, measurable, put some way of measuring that success, attainable. Like I will never run a marathon, but I can walk 10,000 steps. So 10,000 steps would be a better goal for me. Relevant, of course, that you're doing it for you, and then timely. When think about deadlines when the end of the week comes or by the end of the month, I want this to have occurred. So Kat wanted to join the chat. We have a chat cat. So, you can use those intentions. If you've set your intentions up, go take a look at them because they can really help inform this. I also say your stop, start, and continue box can be on page 8, can be, I think it's on page 8, can be a really good foundation for the month and how you want things to be. Yeah, page 8. And that can inform the goals you set. And then we'll look at some examples of how folks take this space. So I love this one. They're using ABC, always be prepared, bring all the energy, continue. I love this, continue to be great. I'm totally awesome. I love that. The no goal idea about where do you need boundaries? Did your stop box, is it full of stuff? Maybe that informs these goals and you set boundaries. And so yeah, Elizabeth is probably going to start working on those things. So oh goodness, toxic bosses. I'm so sorry, Elizabeth. You take good care of yourself as you're working with that, and maybe that needs to be a focus for this setup so that you are a-okay. We've got framing your goals around a single topic or challenge or theme for the week. Here's what that could look like for you. And I just love, how everybody kind of sets up a little bit different. It's so fun to see other examples. And then we've got all these categories. I know so many of us like to just take 3 categories and then pop in the goal. It's, fill in the blank. So here's some like early, midday, evening, learn, leap, let go, mind, soul, body, work, home, self. So it's think about your life and what you could use. There's some inspiration there on the left for that. And then, of course, our goals can inform our to-dos. Your to-do list may stand on its own. I actually put my to-do list on the weekly spread, and use this box for, something different every week. But we want to have our to-do list because we do like to feel productive. Here's some examples of setting that list up. Perhaps you have a need, want, hope, to-do list. Here is something, a mind, body, soul list with some to-dos. I mean, morning sunlight, y'all. Oh, who can't benefit from that? So maybe these things can inspire you. This is from our Silk and Sonder Instagram and Facebook account. So we don't really engage a lot on Facebook, but you can find really good graphics there. So there's that. Yes, we are in April. And Akosua, we actually did our mind map kind of as a bonus, so it can be done anywhere. And Maya will get you caught up on that one. The Eisenhower Matrix, we love the Eisenhower Matrix for really long to-do lists. And if you're sitting here on March 30th going, I'm flipping back, I didn't do these, then let's drop those things in a grid like this and prioritize and get the main things done and then figure out what you can delay or put off or just drop totally. This is a very, very good tool. The not to do list, again, that idea of saying no, of where do you need boundaries, the things that you don't need to do. And yeah, we're cloudy here too, Heather. No sunshine, but I'm hoping it comes later. So let's work on these 2 spaces. Then we'll go do our habits and activities. Let me put on a little spot of music and kind of let us know what's coming up for you. This week is going to be heavy self-care for me. And I'm going to do I'm going to go get my toes done. But I also have to do some reflection on self-care because I'll be spending time with my mom, who is hard, and she'll love that I'm there, and she'll be sweet, but her behavior is tricky, and so I've got to really focus on my self-care. So everything here this week is going to be about taking care of me. Let me know what you'll be doing in your setup. As we were working on this section, I thought, I think I need to focus in on the not to do list. And Radhika read between the lines. And yeah, my mom has very narcissistic behavior. And then I said my half brother makes her look good. So, not looking forward to this week for sure, Radhika. Maybe we'll start our own club. Anyhow, yeah, family. Yeah. Maya and I were talking about family. You get to pick those good friends in your life. That's the goal there. Let's drop down to our habit and activity tracker. And James Clear, who is the father of habit and activity habits. He says the idea behind make it easy is not to just do easy things, it's to make it as easy as possible in the moment so that things pay off in the long run. So, like if your habit is walk 15,000 steps, the habit could actually be put walking shoes by front door. Like just break it down to that very first small step, and then everything else springboards from that. So that's what he means when he says that. So let's keep our habits easy. I've got some examples of trackers, and we always say you don't have to fill in all the lines. The things that are on your monthly habit tracker are those daily things that you hope to do every single day this month. But this tracker allows you to meet yourself at that particular week. What's the week going to bring you? Do you have carpool 3 times this week? Go write carpool in, circle those days. It'll help you remember. You can tape off some days. I'm not so sure that I'll be doing a habit tracker this week because I don't even want to track anything, right? I just want to make sure I've got things written down that I can tap into. You can see a couple of examples of how folks have circled those days. Things need to happen. You can set a goal or you cannot set a goal and you can just track. It's really what meets your needs. If you're going to be really disappointed in yourself because you didn't, stay within your calories for 5 days, then don't set a number. Just track the days that you did that and then celebrate that, right? And then I wanted to bring this to top of mind. This can also be very themed out. So, this person, one of their major goals was to build systems, and then their PM, their nighttime rhythm and routine, their system for night was all reflected in this one tracker. So I love how it kind of became a themed tracker to support that goal for the week. So is there something that you've written as one of your goals that could be seen down here in the types of things that you do to make that goal happen? I love that. And then you can see we've got, I kind of like this one over on the upper right because it's got good nutrition. They wanted to do it 6 times. And I'm not sure, but the color coding of like little half circles, like, I did an okay, I didn't do it fully. But my nutrition was sort of good. And I kind of like that, just giving cheers to yourself. And then there's some habit tracker ideas if you're looking to change things up. So let me put on just a smidge of music for this space, and then we'll hop over to our second page for setup. Okay, time is flying. Let's go jump into our second part of our setup. I'm going to go through these slides pretty quickly. I know most of us here have done this page before, so I won't spend too much time talking about stuff, but I've got lots of great examples to show you from you beautiful people. Love the idea of changing up our meal planner into a celebration for every day or an affirmation space. Many of us write our daily affirmations in that juicy meal planner space. We are looking at both of these examples have the mind body health plan where it is focused on self. I always say this is the selfish space for me. The one on the right hand side, there's a bingo board there in the shopping list with some things to do for the week. And they all look, sometimes I put my chores in there just so I can write them off. But these all look very focused on self-care and finding moments for themselves. But also notice the water droplets on the example on the right. There's that repurposing of those little water droplets that can be really good. Marissa, I'm so excited. I've got a birthday bingo for you to look at. It's one of my old ones, and then somebody else did one. So there's two bingos coming up. Give me just a minute. So we've got, and yes, happy birthday. We've got this is our April 30 days of awareness. Again, Silk and Sonder Instagram or Facebook. And maybe you will choose to take like a calendar like this and go fill in like I get blurry, your page 5, your April calendar. So and track your awareness. And I've got a couple of sweet, Maya is so good about pointing us to really great great what am I trying to say? Accounts so that your algorithm becomes bloom scrolling instead of doom scrolling. Isn't that fun? And Ordinary and Happy is one of the ones that I grabbed from her, and it just helps your algorithm look so much better when you're scrolling through all of that. So there's two Ordinary and Happy calendars that might inspire your spaces this week. You don't have to necessarily do what, in order that kind, but maybe you pull some of those for these spaces. Here's some meal plan examples, repurposing or using them for your nutrition. I'm going to go really fast so we can make sure we've got lots of time to go through the slides. I want to show those birthday bingos. But I do want to point out Nathania's 15 minutes there. She put in Sonder Club, this is to try and get me decluttering every day. So that's her decluttering space. And she's just calling it 15 minutes, and she's going to track how she embraced her 15 minutes. And I love that because remember, James Clear said, keep it simple. We can mostly find 10 or 15 minutes to work on something. It could be that she ended up working for an hour, but she did that small thing first and she's tracking that small thing. So I love that shout out. Mind body health plan. Again, I always say do the kind things for yourself in this space, like at the very minimum, use this space. And then I want to get to, a self-esteem journal is a really nice little reflection, just little mini reflections. And any of these can be done in any of these spaces. We always say that. Here's a self-care plan, and it's that reflection of I feel and I need. And I may have three of these trackers, and I may start my morning, do a midday check-in, and then do it again at night. So I may end up working that into my journal some way since I'm really trying to focus on my feels this week. There are some April slow living inspiration ideas. I mean, have you flown a kite this spring? Maybe we all need to add something like that to our journal and have a little playtime. Our shopping list can be used as a shopping list, but also we love a bingo. We love the grids here. So, some examples, you could do doodles here. You could remind yourself no shopping and write that across that space, give it some power. Okay, here's our birthday week bingos, both of those on the left. And so, if you are celebrating yourself or celebrating someone in your life, if it's an anniversary, I love creating little mini bingos. And, for mine is the top one that I did. And it was just like I had pretty nails. So I went and painted my fingernails myself. It didn't cost anything. I bought some grocery store flowers. I checked out a new thrift shop. I just found a new store to go to. The things that bring me joy. I bought myself a new lipstick. So, very small ways. I love the one below that. Begin with art. Meditate, relax. But it was all about celebrating yourself. So grab those. And again, we love a bingo. It's just when we gamify our life, it's so, so good. Let me put on some music. I'll go back through these slides, grab any images, or let us know if something has inspired you or what you'll be repurposing spaces for, so that we can share and get inspiration from one another. I always love how everybody just cheers each other on through really hard stuff. Y'all are amazing, and I am so honored to have been able to hang out with you. This has been recorded, so if you saw a screen that you didn't get a screenshot of, you'll be able to access it in just a little bit. Drop in the chat right now. What are you loving? What are you loving? And I found this example of the favorite affirmation of the week. So they changed this box up just to kind of maybe look back at last week's affirmation and pull that forward. Thought that was pretty cool. A good little repurpose. So yeah, I think right now at this very moment, I am just loving that I had y'all to be with today. Mornings are really tough. I wake up, my head immediately is sad. And then I get busy and I'm better. I process by moving and doing and digging, and I'll be in the garden today. So thank you all for showing up. Maya and I always love to hang with the Sonder family. We want to see your setup in Sonder Club. You may see it, as an example. One day I had old examples in here today, and I think on yesterday morning, everybody was like, "Oh, that's mine. That's mine. That's mine." I loved that. I loved that. And Maya's dropping those links that you might need in the chat. Again, there's the shout out to that minimalist digital journal, 15% off. If you want to do that, check it out. I believe you could actually grab that, print it. And somebody made a comment about like, well, why is it the same cost? And really what it is, it's, there's a lot of science and stuff that goes into all these activities that are developed for us and for our self-care process. And so it's more than just what's on paper, right? It's all the bones of getting us into this space of setting ourselves up for success, of learning and growing with one another. So maybe that kind of helps shift that understanding with that. Again, go do that random act of kindness. Leave a review for your Silk and Sonder journey in any of the spaces that will take that. Thank you so much for being here. And I think I'm on the calendar for the second for our very first journal prompt. And so I think that's Thursday, and I'm planning to be there and would love to see y'all. Thank you for all the virtual Love Sonder family. And if you haven't had a monthly setup, Maya and I are back this evening, and we'll see you then.